What is up? Welcome back to the Investment Insanity channel. I hope everyone is doing well, that this video is finding you at a good time, at a good place. Everything's going good for you. Basically today, what I wanted to do is I want to go over how I choose my lineups. Now, my lineups don't always perform well, but I like to keep it on a value basis. What I mean by a value basis is I look for the best cards that I can buy at the cheapest price. So let's say I want someone that's an average of 23. This is how I do it. So I go to the market, I go to manager sales. Sometimes you can get good deals on auctions right here, but that's very rare. It does happen sometimes, but not often. Then I go to either newly listed or lowest price. And then I go over to 10 game average, and I go to the minimum I want. So I want at least 23. So I will go through then and look at anyone that is a 23 in the last 10 games. So Alec Burks, we can go look at him. Alec Burks does not really put up 23 a lot. His 24 is actually probably over what it should be, even though he used to be a 29. So he might not be the best play. But then we look at Zach Collins. Zach Collins had a couple of bad last games, not to say he isn't good, but he could be an option. So what I then like to do is I like to go over to an app called SoRareData.com, and you can find it in the description, but I type in the name of the player, Zach Collins. So basically this allows me to see his last 10 games were 20. He has an average of 20 for the season. His last 40 was 21. And I want to see how good of a deal he is. This is the average price right here. And he's trading below his average price right now, which is good. Basically, we want to see that his last 10 games isn't as crucial as a season. Honestly, the season stats kind of gives the whole picture. Last 10 games gives a very small picture. So here's the price graph right here, and then we can go over to not rolling average history, like score over the past couple games, and I can see, okay, he scored 11 in this game, 5 in this game, 37, and we just go through and we see how he lines up compared to his average. So it seems like in his last few games he is not hitting his average well. That means he's very inconsistent, probably not for your lineup. Unless he is very either 30 points or 0 points, and at a 10 average I wouldn't recommend this guy. So then we go back and we look for another player. And I want to see Monty Morris. Okay, and I think I like this guy. Yeah. I was gonna buy him. He's a very good player, and he's usually consistent, which is what I like. So I want to go back to SoRare data, and just to make sure that his last 5 games weren't a fluke, I'm gonna look at Monty Morris. His season average is 24. His last 10 game average is 24, which means he's consistent. We like that. Now if I want to go over to his scores for the past couple of games, we see he has a 44, 22. That usually he's scoring at least 20 points. Now the thing is with this guy, he does hit his average a lot. He has a couple bad games. Any player's going to have those bad games where they don't hit their average. But overall, I'd say he's done pretty well. 30 points. He's either going to hit right at 22 or above, or he's going to hit below or right around a 15. Which is good, because of the fact that he's value. He's not going to be the best player. He's not going to always hit above his 10 game average, but he has that value factor because he's only $9.74. If I went to buy a comparable player, maybe a little bit younger, it's probably going to cost me about 13 to 18 bucks minimum, and that's a very like low range, because if you want a very young player, a very good player, you're gonna have to pay a lot more than that. So $9.74 is definitely a value buy. Why I talk about value is you don't want to spend all your money on a lineup that's incredibly high valued. All these high valued lineups actually tend to see a decrease over time because of the fact that a player doesn't perform well, they buy a rookie that's doing well and then he drops off the map, someone gets sent back to the G League, anything like that. So I go with the proven players, okay? Monty Morris has done well, put up season averages. He is a good role player for the Wizards, so he would be a good guy to pick. So basically what you want to look at is 10-game average compared to season average. How often did they play? Did they have any games where they missed? Like Markel Fultz, for example, is a perfect example. He missed a lot of games at the beginning of the season. Right here, did not play, 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 did not play. You get the idea. But now he's coming back and he's putting up these points. 46, 51, 34, 29, 25. So I wouldn't discount him based on the fact he was out this many times, but you want to look for players that have been out because, not because of injury. When it comes down to the player that's injured, you are not going to have any issues with getting them back typically. Okay, eventually they're going to come back into the lineup. But if I look at Boban, for example, Boban has a lot of games where he did not play. And it's not because he's injured, actually. The reason he did not play is because of the fact that he is not a consistent player in their lineup. So you got to know the difference between injuries and the difference between them just not getting playing time. Boban is actually, I'd say, at $1.10, you are buying him cheap. He's going to be a 5 average. He might not even get put in the lineup, but they've been calling him more and more recently. You can see he really didn't play, and now he's playing a lot more than he used to. So for $1.10, I would highly recommend him. And if you want him on your rare team, $8.32, not a bad option, okay? I own one of him. I put him in my lineup sometimes. I don't think he's a bad player. I'll say that right now. His last 10 games are 6, but it's a choice you gotta make. You gotta spend your money the most useful way possible. Now you guys are probably wondering, what is my lineup? Now that you kind of know how to pick out your players and everything like that, what is my lineups? So I'll go to my past lineup and kind of show you guys how it did. Basically, I had a limited contender lineup, did 130 points, which is 20 above the maximum average you can have. Not bad. I had a limited champion, I believe, which is 189 points, probably right on par. Bogdan screwed me in both of these. I would have had a very nice limited contender card if Bogdan didn't mess up his ankle, I believe. But I mean, I've used these value plays. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh no, just buy these players because I say to. I'm not gonna tell you which players to buy. I'm just gonna show you how I do it. So you're gonna look for that consistency throughout games. You're gonna look for the fact whether they sat, whether they didn't sit, and you're just gonna make choices that you feel are right. Russell Westbrook I bought at 23 bucks. And I have had nothing but, I mean, like, good vibes from him. Okay, he's putting up 55, 39, 47, 53, 41, 35. I mean, you just gotta look for the people that you know are right. That you know, like Jordan Clarkson, for example. Jordan Clarkson is a great player for his team, and he doesn't sit on the bench a lot. I mean, I don't even know if he had any games where he was sitting on the bench not due to injury. So Russell Westbrook is $26.55. Not a horrible buy, not the best buy at that price, but I think you can do quite well if you pick him up eventually. And then I will also show you my live lineup. So currently my live lineup for limited champion has 156.87 points. Not horrible, not the best, but I guess we'll take it. Bogdan actually did quite well compared to what he was doing, so I was happy with that. And Chris Paul, we'll see if he's out another game for injury. Then we got limited contenders. We got Plumlee. I like Plumlee. If you can pick him up as a value buy, I don't think you're going to go wrong. You might have to deal with his last 10 game average of 10 game average of 37, I believe, but that's not too much of an issue. Bojan Bogdanovic is somewhat good buy. All depends on how he progresses with his injury. Bruce Brown, I like him, but he's expensive for the tier. Dragic is actually a really good buy. Unless he's up from when I bought him. No, I don't want the Chicago Bulls. I want to show you guys this guy. $3.14. I mean, you can't go wrong at that price, not on this guy. And he has the last 10 game average of 9. Yeah, I think that's great for him to be only at a 9 and to be at that price, but it's up to you guys to choose what you do. For my upcoming lineups, I have, let's look at my limited contender here. I have Russell Westbrook, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Bruce Brown, Terrence Ross, Boban. Okay, you guys can copy that if you want to. Yeah, it shouldn't be a big issue. I like when they have more than one game. If they have one bad game, you're kind of screwed. If they have 2 games and they're good games, you're going to get the best of the 2, so that's good. Limited champion then. Home we got Julius Randle, Mason Plumlee, Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, Reggie Bullock. I like Eric Gordon. He's been putting up 30 points right now. Very good card to have, but he's expensive, so I don't recommend it necessarily. It's up to you for that one. Chris Paul's cheap, out with an injury. Could be the time to pick him up. Also keep in mind the plus multiplier. So you got a season multiplier and an XP bonus multiplier. And you want to have the highest multiplier you can. Obviously it helps you compete better. And I think that's about it. We can go look at my soccer results, which I don't know how good they are. And guess I'll get a free card real quick. On the free cards, you want to kind of look for the best value guy. So Jamal Murray is a high tier player, which means you can trade him for another high tier player. So I'm going to choose Jamal Murray. He's also the highest 10 game average. And then I can actually trade him if I want to. My cards. Card swap right here allows you to trade him. And actually Thomas Bryant might be good to trade. He's been inconsistent. Mason Plumlee would be good to have. Yeah, I can go with Mason Plumlee, I guess. He's probably a tier down, but I like Mason Plumlee at this point in time. And then these are all my limited cards. You guys can sort through and see. We got Boban, Gordon, Bruce Brown, Russell Westbrook, Mason Plumlee, Reggie Bullock, Chris Paul, Julius Randle, Bogdan, Terrence Ross, Mason Plumlee, and Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon is probably one of my best price increases. He's selling at around 9, and I bought him at what, $6.73. Julius Randle's doing good. Probably your best MVP at the current prices, I'd say. $68 for him is a lot better than 200 and something for Embiid. Will he go down? His 10 game average is 56. His last 40 is like 43.8, so he might go down. But at the end of the day, I think you just gotta have the players to fill the gaps in your lineup. If it's out of 110, you just gotta make sure you have 5 players that are consistently going to fill up most of those points, and that's about it. I hope everyone got information out of this video. I hope it wasn't too long. and just thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I'll have some links down below to any applications that might help, or a referral link down below if you just want to sign up. You can get a free limited card if you buy 5 limited cards, so that's something to watch out for. And I will see you guys later. Have a good one.